Colleen De Vos. Her father was a practicing Catholic with a terminal illness who chose to end his life through Canada's MAiD program in 2023, despite his family's efforts to change his mind. Colleen, thank you so much for coming on today to share your powerful story.
Thank you very much for having me.
Could you take us back to when your father first told you and the family that he intended to pursue MAiD? How did you react, and what was that experience like?
My father wasn't very forthcoming with his intentions, unfortunately. We did see some very fragile moments during the course of his illness, especially as it proceeded to overtake him, where he had mentioned it. We were advocating very strongly for hospice care or at-home palliative program, which is available to us. He seemed to agree with that, but unfortunately, as his symptoms became worse and the palliative program came into play, the nurse practitioner who was in charge of his medical care at home talked to him privately about his wanting to pursue the MAiD route.
Now, he was 85. He also suffered from COPD, and you've described this as being able to book this even easier than an oil change. When you look back, your family felt increasingly sidelined during this process. Can you explain why?
Yes, we did. I think that we were in the trenches so much trying to work very hard for palliative care, hopefully hospice admission. He was turned down on 2 occasions, deeming that his diagnosis wasn't enough to warrant hospice care. Unfortunately, that was a surprise to us because we could see he was deteriorating very quickly. So the irony of the availability of MAiD that could be arranged very quickly was, again, as you say, sidelined us very much so. The instructions that came to us as a family, the receiving of literally the cardboard box in the mail that held all of the necessary provisions that they would need, and which we were instructed to keep very close care of. So yeah, it was very difficult, and it was very simple.
On the day your father died, he was offered alternatives, including a hospice bed, yet he went ahead with MAiD. Why do you think he decided to proceed?
I think he proceeded because of his loss of hope, and I think he also, I think within his mental anguish, was looking for control, rather than relinquishing that control, to God and to the love of his family. We absolutely were prepared to provide him with round-the-clock care, but he unfortunately turned down the miracle, which we felt happened on the morning. They called us and said that a hospice bed was ready immediately for him. So it was very heartbreaking that he didn't accept the offer.
What is your message to lawmakers who advocate for these types of laws?
I would appeal to them to think about the sacred gift of life that we are given by God. And I don't believe that it's up to the lawmakers to determine, to give someone the autonomy to end their life.
Colleen, thank you so much for sharing your personal experience with us today and speaking out against MAiD.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.